I suffer from a crippling social anxiety, so this is going to be just as fun for you as it currently is for me. Obviously, if you have eyes, I was bullied at school. And at work. And at home. And between the beatings, my mother used to say to me, Ryan, you need to get yourself a hobby. So I did. I took up poetry. Didn't help. In fact, it probably made things drastically worse. But to relive some of those beatings, I'm going to perform some of my poems for you. So, apologies. I also have a poetry voice, so thank you. This poem's called Pauline, for reasons that will become obvious very early on in the poem. Pauline gasped. She'd never seen a cock so big. She blushed as she stared at Robert's prize-winning chicken. Whose knob was enormous. Most of my poems are based on true stories, and the rest are just narratives I've made up. And this one is based on a true story, but I've changed my own name to protect my own identity. Tim's mother called him. Help! I've fallen down the stairs! She screamed onto his answer phone. Tim called her back, each day for 4 days. No answer. So Tim assumed she no longer needed help and carried on with the rest of his week. My girlfriend, I know what you're thinking. The power of poetry. I consider my girlfriend to be a bit of a wag. She stinks of dog food. And she said, Ryan, aren't all actors hypocrites? And I thought, they are hypocrites, aren't they? So I'll show you the evidence now. A seasoned actress, such as Judi Dench, tastes nothing like salt and pepper. The James Bond actor, Rory Kinnear, can't, he's half deaf. And despite me asking, Will Smith won't. My mother, the power of poetry. My mother said to me, she said, Ryan, because I can never be bothered coming to any of your gigs, how do you normally do your set? I said, well, I'll start with the latest one I've written and work my way back till I've done them all. So with that in mind, this is poem 247. Stacey went bowling. It took her ages to find the right ball, but finally she found one. The weight was fine, but her fingers kept getting lodged in the little holes. Instead of a mitten, she had chubby little man fingers. She bowled anyway, severely breaking her wrist in 3 places. This is poem 246. It requires some acting, so thank you. 2 gay melons tried to marry. No, no, screamed the pineapples. You can't elope. I often perform my poetry in front of mirrors, but once I had the opportunity to perform in front of celebrities on a boat, and Brian Blessed was at the back there, and he said, do you just do poems? I said, no, Brian, I'm also really good at impressions. And when I was on this boat, the captain said, we're in a sea battle, quick, get the cannonballs. So we ran out of cannonballs. He said, use the coconuts. I did. Looked across the battlefield, desiccated. I know I've got these cute little cards with like the king of clubs on them, but I do know the poems off by heart, and to prove it, I'll do this one off the cuff. It's called The Magician's Wand. That's a classic case of a misdirection, Amy said, as the magician's cock went flaccid. Oh, yeah, I've been accused of not doing relatable humour for you, so here's a relatable poem that we've all been in this situation. So, Peter had been sat in Steve's house for 30 minutes and he still didn't know the Wi-Fi password. Steve was the poor host, so Peter killed him. But didn't know what to do with the body, as he still wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi. This next poem is called Quiet, so... What's the matter with you now? Chris yelled. Oh, it said Chris yelled. Sorry. What's the matter with you now? Chris yelled. But Carl didn't answer, as he'd been dead for hours. Now, this green card just says Sandra. So this poem must be called Sandra. Sandra loved the casino. She adored roulette, swooned over the free soft drinks, but she hated, despised, loathed blackjack. Sandra was racist. I went Leeds Festival the other week. That was fucking intense. Yeah, intense. Believe it or not, I do often die on stage, so I've started writing my will. I've got one more L, and then I should be done. I'll leave you with this, because I need a new one anyway. Thank you for listening to me. That's me. That's Ryan. Thank you.